Good morning. It's Wednesday morning and I am driving to the gym, and that's a good thing. And it's a good thing because I've always kind of trained from the age of 5 in the martial arts predominantly, and through this period, this pandemic and all its implications and what it's done to certain industries and livelihoods, for me exercise has been the one thing that has helped me to process, to get clear about my thoughts, to have some clarity in terms of what I need to do to navigate forwards. Because believe you me, and I'm sure a lot of you out there felt the same, it's been really overwhelming. It's been overwhelming to suddenly realize. I remember going back to March, realizing that everything was like dominoes shutting down, and then by the end of April realizing that there's no cash flow, there's no, all my kind of ways to make a living had been severed, had just gone like overnight. But then you still got to service all your outgoings, your mortgage, your rent, and your utilities and your car payments, etc., etc. And for a period of time, God, it was like somebody suffocating you, and you're just trying to work out, what are you going to do? And then I did the whole thing like most people did. I'm self-employed, and so I had to go through that process of working out what I'm entitled to, and then realizing that actually I'm not entitled to anything because I've shown some losses, and therefore, you're not entitled to support. So that was like, whoa. Okay, this is an interesting time. However, going to the gym, going out for a run, going for a big walk has always been the thing that actually gave me space to breathe and to like reassess and to like put things into perspective and just start to focus on the things that I could do, the things that I could control, to navigate forwards in a way that, I can turn some of this around, or at least, tread water until, things start to open up again. And it's been a really interesting time. I'm a creative, predominantly I've always been a performer. I was a fighter as a kickboxer and a martial artist. I've always written songs and poems. I'm an actor, I'm a trained actor, I've trained all over the world, and I write, I've produced a bunch of short films, and now I've produced and directed my first feature film. And to be in that boat where none of those things are open or available for you to actually make a living was tough. And aside of that, having grown up in the martial arts, I've always been a coach, I've always been a trainer. I opened a small business to try and have some streams of income that are not critically dependent on me being there all day every day. And that was something I built up over many years, and then to have that completely wiped out, but yet still being accountable for the rent and the rates, has been tough. So on every level and everywhere I turned, it was like, whoa, what am I gonna do? And overwhelming. In one word, overwhelming. But the training, the exercise, would always give me a fresh perspective. It would always, bizarrely, like I would go for like a 10k run, just nice, easy, and without even thinking about the situation and the problems, ideas would just pop into my head. And I think because I'm in that flow, you're just freeing up the mind and the body, and the endorphins are kicking in, so you're feeling a little bit more positive, and in a subconscious or even a super subconscious way, the mind's working away, and then just throws up an idea. Hey, what about this? Well, what about that? The one thing that's for sure is that the world has changed. And if anyone out there listening to this has ever read Who Moved My Cheese, this is it really there's a lot of parallels at the moment between that book and what's going on. And that's a business book for those who have or haven't read it, but it's to cut it short and to explain it really quickly, it's about two mice that go to this place every day called the cheese station, and that's where the cheese is, and that's where they get cheese, and they notice that the cheese is running out and it's not being replaced. And one of them thinks, hey, I need to go and find new cheese because the cheese is not here anymore, it's disappearing. The other one's like, no, this is where the cheese is. This cheese will always be here. You just keep coming here, you'll get cheese. And they separate. One goes off on an adventure and a journey to try and find new cheese, with the risk that they won't find cheese and they'll die of hunger. And the other one keeps going to the cheese station, which is slowly depleting. And through the story, the cheese does run out at the cheese station, and the other mouse eventually, almost at death's door, finds a new cheese station. And my point is this, is that if you sit and do what you've always done, well, is it the cheese station that is not going to be replenished, is actually running out? And do we need to pivot? Do we need to change what we're doing and how we do it? For me personally, I've come to that realization that, yeah, I need to pivot. I've pivoted. I've had to reinvent myself so many times through my life. There was a time when people would just know me as the personal trainer or the fighter, you know, but I'm doing that professionally to make a living, but actually in my private time I'm spending as much if not more time working on my craft, working on my acting, going to classes, to schools, to workshops, to courses in London, New York, LA, and I was known as a personal trainer and as a fighter, and then I was just known as the fighter, and then, you know, as time passes, yeah, some people knew me as a singer-songwriter because I was in bands as well, and but it took a long time to get away from that kind of, not a stigma, because, you know, people can do many things. And now I'm known as an actor, and people are starting to know my writing works, and I've started to produce small things, so who knows where that will take me, but I have some ideas and some ambition. But my point is that I'm in another period. I'll always be an actor, but I'm in another period where I have to I have to pivot slightly. I have to try and reinvent how I make a living, because it's changed. The world has changed, and, you know, I don't think certain things are coming back. And it's not enough to just survive, to keep going to that cheese station and hoping that at some point it will all come back and it will all be great and good again. I don't think it is. I think my personal belief and where I'm focusing my time and my energy and eventually some money will be in kind of new services and working at what that will be. I'm keeping that close to my chest at the moment, but I am working on it, and how I can generate, you know, another revenue stream to pay my bills. I mean, I'm not talking about becoming the richest man on earth. I'm not talking about getting fame through it. It's just, how do you get up every day and be accountable and responsible for your living expenses, so you're not a burden on society. And yeah, it's just working out how I can do that while still being able to stay in the profession and the industry that I love the most, which is all I ever think about, which is being an actor, which is being involved in that creative process of making something, being in it, being around it, but being able to afford to do that. And that's the tricky one, and that's where my focus is at the moment. So anyway, my rant, whilst I'm on the way to the gym, my venting, my thoughts and feelings is that for me, and maybe this is transferable to some of you out there, that maybe it's a time for change. Maybe it's a time to look at new business, new ways to market your service offering, or to create some new things that, you know, assist with cash flow and allow you to do the things that you love. Or it might be doing the thing that you love and finding other ways to market and sell it. But just doing what we've always done for a lot of industries and a lot of businesses, it's just, for me, it's suicide. I can see that if I stay doing what I've always done, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. So, change. Whether we like it or not, it happens, and sometimes we have to embrace it and give it your best, and be open to ideas. And on that note, I've arrived at the gym. But fight the good fight, people. Stay focused, stay positive. Try not to get caught up in your head. There's always people out there you can talk to if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and negative. And I wish you well. I wish you a great day, a great week. And remember, anything is possible. But for me, all I know is that it takes hard work, it takes focused work, it takes working smart. Nothing's a definite, nothing's a given. And we mustn't expect a return on an investment that we don't make. You've got to put the work in. You've got to put the work in to get the return on the investment. Your time, your energy, your effort, your money. And being brutally honest with ourselves is really important. If we're talking about it and thinking about it, but taking no action, well, you really can't expect a return. You've got to roll up those sleeves and go to work. And now I'm going to go to work, do some exercise, and then get back to doing some other work. Enjoy the day.